Hey there, this is Drew Kaplan and welcome to the 13th edition of A Few with Drew. So this is again my Corona Team project. Every day for 3 to 5 minutes I chat about just stuff going on. So the very first thing is Passover just ended less than an hour ago. So this Passover kippah I've been wearing for basically since the start of Passover, I can go and put away for the next year. So I'm hoping that year, this next year, will be a year free from coronavirus and we can see people again. Who knows when all this COVID-19 stuff will dissipate? Who knows? I certainly don't. But now that Passover's over, we can resume with normal life, at least still within quarantine, right? And I do want to say I got some reading done. I'm very excited over the past 2 days, the holiday days. Yes, I got some Jewish study on, which was great, but also I read this afternoon, this nice little, it was a kid's book that I've had since May 2018. It was hanging around for review purposes and I just handed it off to one of my daughters. I don't know if she ever read it, but as some of you may know, last couple of Sundays, 8 p.m. Zoom meeting hangout. We're having a third this coming Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time, if you want to come and join. And some people were talking in the very first one about various Star Wars books, and I was happy to chat about that. And it made me realize I should come up with a list of the Star Wars books that are out there and just, pop in a few cents about them. And I realized of the many books that I hadn't read, some of them were like this one, sitting on my shelf. So I took the time. This really was like under a couple hour read, so it was great. And now I'm handing it off to my 9-year-old daughter to go read and knock herself out with. Speaking of books that I did read, I also, so last week, so for those who are whatever, I've become a big Gary Vaynerchuk fan, enjoying it, and a lot of the stuff he's been mentioning recently, he keeps mentioning his books. So I checked out, I started reading his 2017 Crushing It book last week, and as I was reading it, he kept referring back to his 2009 book, Crush It. So, fine, I said, I'm just going to go read it because he's making all these references to it. Fine. So, although I'd started it earlier this week, most of the book I read today, and it was, it's funny because it's basically a distillation of everything he's been saying. It's really, he's been saying the same stuff, and I knew this was, really his content. But if I had read this 2009 for sure, but 2010, 2011, even 2012, this would have been greatly helpful for me, both personally and professionally, because a lot of what he was talking about, yes, the social media stuff and jumping on it, although I was on some of those platforms at the time, but also specifically about building brand. At the time, I specifically remember having conversations with people really pushing me, Drew, you really got to build your brand and really think about it in those terms, and I really didn't. And I definitely lost out on lots of opportunities over the years on account of that. So I'm now thinking more conscientiously about it, more consciously about it. And so it's funny because having read that 2009 book, anybody who reads it can see there's a lot of things that, wow, that was over a decade ago, and things that he imagined coming, especially with videos, and it's really great. But a lot of the stuff endures, and now I'm going to go back to reading that Crushing book he's got. So anyone, you want to check it out, it's cool. I recommend it. But if you are a regular consumer of Gary Vaynerchuk's content anyways, it's not there's no surprises, no curveballs. But anyways, I wanted to share about those things and looking forward to my next one tomorrow. So thanks, have a great night, and enjoy being past Passover.